I will call the meeting to order at 10:02. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Manfres,
Here.
Ms. Reedy, Mr. Madonio, Mr. Hummel,
Present.
Ms. Kane. Here. Mr. Sodal,
Here.
Mr. Dudek.
Here. Here.
Patrick emailed this morning and said he's under the weather, he will not attend.
Okay. And you heard from Angie.
Yes, Angie had a prior commitment, so she wasn't able to make it.
Approval of December 14th minutes. Any comments?
What is this, there's a note saying reducing the length of that signboard. Did that get done?
No. No.
Okay.
The signboard's the signboard. Unless they wanted to take it off, because I think those glass blocks are still behind it, those cubes, but they're covered up by that plywood, so.
No, it would have been reducing of this, the letters, instead of stretching all the way across,
Yeah.
shrinking it down.
Did they agree to reduce it?
Yeah, they sent back something. When we get to that, I'll show you.
Oh,
Any other comments on the minutes?
I'll move for approval.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Abstain.
Abstain. New business, election of vice chairman.
Are you open for nominations?
Open for nominations.
I nominate Mr.
Duda?
Dudek. Mr.
Doesn't know my name.
Well, I always get mixed up with a classmate of mine. Lou Dudek.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any other nominations? If not, call the roll, please.
Mr. Manfres,
Yes.
Mr. Hummel,
Yes.
Ms. Kane.
Yes.
Mr. Sodal,
Yes.
Mr. Dudek. You can abstain.
Okay. Steve Cummins, signage, 245 West Main Street. Would you like to come up to the mic and tell us a little bit about your sign and business?
I'm Steve Cummins. It's nice to meet everybody here. So, obviously you see the sign. The store is gonna be just a collective of kind of like what you see on the door. I'm an artist, so I'll have my own art in there. I'll have other people's art. Not quite an antique store, but if I acquire it, if it comes in, there'll be antiques, retro, collectibles. I kind of try to explain to people kind of like a small Spencer's slash, I guess, thrift store to be, you know what I mean? Because it's going to be a lot of used stuff peppered in with new stuff as well. Just kind of more hand selected than a average thrift store. I'm not going to be selling used Rubbermaid in there. It'll be more higher end stuff, collectibles.
I went to New York City here a couple years ago, and there was a store that was kind of well-known, and it was more of an oddities, which you have the word up there.
Yeah.
And it was very, very interesting, and it did well, of course.
Was
a
it
big
the
city.
one on the TV show?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you've seen that
Yeah.
before that. And it was very interesting. I took my sister there who wanted to go, but I get what this is about.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of stuff like this around. So I'm hoping to draw, you know, outside of Ravenna with advertisement, obviously. And I know I travel 2 hours away to see stores like these.
Yeah.
But I'm an odd guy.
I think Kent is your key there too, to get those 25,000 students that maybe get some of those over here to support your business. So obviously, I know you'll advertise there, but.
Sure.
But,
I've never been too far from Ravenna. I've lived in Ravenna now 10 years, but I've been in Brady Lake, or I went to school in Southeast, so I just kind of always wanted to do it in my hometown, you know, and I hope to bring the people, you know, I hope to build the city up. You know, I see all these old pictures, the Ravenna Mile and all that. It's like, wow, let's get that back,
oh
you
boy.
know.
What is the sign made of?
So I got that quote. It's, I guess the best would be vinyl. You know, it's you know that man, what is that stuff called? Like, I want to say foam board, but it's not. It's plastic. It's more like a PVC. But
Right.
it's got like the honeycomb.
Yeah,
They're super light, super durable. I'm sure that sign probably weighs 6 pounds if I had to guess, you know. You can see how they have those slats across the top of the building. We just go in there with washers and behind it and right into the wood, and that'd be that.
Your neighbor there makes those signs. I don't know if you've talked to them or not. But, they use a lot of that, and then they laminate
vinyl right up,
the vinyl over stick on, and it lasts pretty good, so. Yeah.
So I'm going through my buddy. I've actually been in a business with him in the past. He's a graphic artist. That's, you guys seen the paperwork, CMU. He's done this stuff a lot. He's currently disabled, so he's my art guy, and he is sending it out and giving it quotes different places, because he's not capable of doing the physical, just the art. I have no problems with the lady next to me, but they do, and it was pretty much one of those "you use her, I'll kill you" type things.
Hey,
So
personalities are personalities.
yeah, like I said, I have nothing against her. She's always been sweet to me. But yeah, we're getting different. I mean, the material, the size, nothing will change, but I am getting different quotes while I'm waiting for approval. You know, why wouldn't I?
okay. Any comments?
Bob, everything is within,
Yes, yeah, the square footage of the sign is
well within?
well within, yeah,
Okay.
21 square feet, and what's allowed is 50.5 square feet.
So I did the math right.
Yep, you did fine. So the windows, though, you're not showing anything on the window other than the outline?
Correct, because I'm going to really, my window's gonna be the eye catcher.
Okay.
You know, I build life-size robots and creatures, and it'll be fun year-round.
You want
know,
to
I
keep
look
it
forward-
open then so that people can see it from the street?
Sure,
Great.
sure. But yeah, I thought being able to see in there was better than any signage I could ever put up.
Sure.
I always tell people it's gonna be an experience in there. And I put all the, you know, on the door. I don't know, I just think between the sign and the curious goods and what's on the door, it kind of just explains itself to the right people, you know?
Right. Sure. No, I think it's well done.
I appreciate that.
Okay, comment.
Yes.
I noticed there's an old bracket up above.
Yes.
Will you have any intention of removing that?
I did not have any intention, just because it's not my building. I think that's original.
It's original or something.
Right. I didn't know, I mean, I could see me hanging something from there eventually if I was allowed, but yeah, that would be on the landlord.
Okay.
It wouldn't bother me either way if they left it or took it out.
It's sort of unused, it would probably look better there.
Yeah.
There's also some, this is kind of outside of our realm, but there's some deterioration of brick up there. Wonder if that was anything you might have looked at.
Above the wood there?
Yeah, above the wood.
Yeah. I mean, I did not, just because, again, I'm renting the place.
Who are you renting from now?
Lori Fisher.
Okay, so So Blankenship's no longer, that used to be
Neighbor.
Blankenship's.
Blankenship's a neighbor.
Oh, he's the one with the
The old barber shop.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
Yeah.
okay.
She's done a really nice job inside that building.
Yeah.
That building is very nice. We went through it to issue an occupancy,
Right.
and it's really nice.
That's.
You are allowed, if you would like, to put a blade sign that projects out from the building. You can have a face sign, and you may have a blade sign, which is visible when you're walking up and down the
Sure.
sidewalk. You can, so,
And that would be up at the same height as that sign?
Or possibly on that bracket.
that bracket
Oh.
that's there, you could use to put a blade sign on.
Okay, good to know.
There's a limitation, Bob probably can tell you how many feet off the ground that sign has to be. 11 feet,
I
somewhere in
believe
there?
it is, but this
11 feet.
bracket is very high.
Yeah, that one's up
It was
high.
a four-blade sign back in its
Yeah,
day.
that bracket's 2 or 3 feet above the top of the wood.
Yeah.
I can't remember if that was the old butcher shop back
Yeah,
in the day.
Yes, it was.
The
Butcher shop,
freezer's still.
Forney's Butcher Shop.
That was her grandfather's.
Right, and it had a neon sign that had the butcher and his arm moved and chopping meat. I can visualize it, I got pictures of it.
Yeah, her
so-
grandfather owned that building back in the 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever. So she bought it back to have that building back in the family.
So from an advertising standpoint, you're allowed an A-frame sign out front on the sidewalk to help bring business. Obviously, it'll grow legs if you leave it sit too long. There's others that have put a round table and 2 seats from like a restaurant type. It's more of an appearance. Maybe a skeleton sitting at a table in front of your window would draw attention. Things creative.
Yeah.
Without an advertising, you're advertising without advertising. That would draw
Right.
a crowd. One of the other businesses recently asked if they could put a feather sign, if you know what a feather.
Yeah, where it kind of shoots out.
Well, it's on a pole, but it kind of moves in the wind.
Okay,
They're 11
yeah.
feet, but again, there's creative ways to advertise without advertising. You're just trying to draw somebody in. Like you said, you got goofy stuff inside of your window. People are going to be drawn to that.
Right. That's good to know. So kind of, when you say an A-frame, kind of like a wet floor sign?
Yeah, and a sandwich board sign they're referred to, A-frame sandwich board. You can do something like that.
And then what would be my restrictions if I did do a blade sign, like size-wise? Is there something on stone with that?
Yeah, it's in how big that can be.
2 by 3 or so. I'll get you an answer
Yeah, I
here
was
in a
gonna
minute.
say like 6 square feet,
See if I can
6
find it.
square?
something like that.
Yeah. I'll find it here in a second.
Yeah, she made it pretty clear that she would take responsibility of managing the property as far as damage, or if something goes wrong. She said a lot of people don't do that, but she does. So I didn't really, like, you were asking about the brick. I didn't really go with a fine comb and, check every little nook and cranny.
While he looks for that, I want to welcome you downtown, and you're next to 3 or 4 other storefronts that are empty. And I would hope that you being there will draw and fill those up. So
too.
I hope that not only good for you, but even competition's good
Yeah.
for businesses,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
It's better to have the storefronts full, so hopefully, if you're doing good, that your friends might think about starting a store too, and
Yep.
come down to our town and do that.
Yep.
So,
And I know Ron pretty well, across the street, toy store. Talked to him, he's gave me encouragement. You know,
you said you weren't going to light it, I know. It's probably pretty bright there at night with our newer lights that Bob dealt with, and that's just a thought later on.
Yeah, there's street light right across from me.
Right.
Had there been power there, I definitely would have ran across you guys if that was an option. But they literally just redid that place. I don't think they're gonna spring for putting power out there.
Yeah.
I would like eventually to get a neon sign that kind of mimics the larger sign for the side window. But I gotta sell some knickknacks first. It's expensive.
So projecting sign states you're allowed one projecting sign per store. Such sign shall not exceed 9 square feet. Sign shall not exceed horizontally more than 1/2 the distance of the width of the sidewalk from the property to the curb, which you're not worried about that because it's long.
Right.
It's at least 11 feet. Sign shall be contained in a rectangle whose top edge does not exceed the second story windowsill. The bottom shall have a minimum clearance of 9 feet from the sidewalk. And again, this is up pretty high.
And I wouldn't wanna block
Yeah.
the
So-
the other side.
So that bracket, I can't remember, is that bracket above the windowsill? So it wouldn't be able to be used for that.
It's above the gray that you see, above the.
So is it between the
sign.
gray and the windowsill
Yeah,
then?
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I just don't know that you're gonna be able to hang a 3x3 sign of any size, even if it's aluminum. I don't think that bracket sticks out more than 16 inches.
I have a picture of it. It's flush, the top of the bracket's flush with the top of the windowsill.
Okay.
And it sticks out about 2.5 feet maybe.
Top of the window or windowsill?
Top of the sill.
Windowsill,
Sill, okay.
yeah.
So the bracket
I
is.
can't picture it, I'll look at it later on, I don't doubt it.
It might not be in good shape too. It might be pretty rusted. The
Yeah,
bolts might be
It's
weak.
been there a long time.
It's got 3 guys on it, guy wires on it.
3 guy, well, okay. Okay. So anyway,
Looks
it's another
like-
option.
Looks
for
like
you.
it's in good shape.
Yeah,
Okay, well, good.
I'm glad you guys.
Okay, can I,
Is your open sign, like, how does anybody know when it's open or closed? Or
So
does that stay open?
that's just gonna be, for now, just the good old flipper over.
That's what I wondered.
Yeah, that's gonna be vinyl on that same material that the sign's made out of. So I'll just flip it. And then when I find something cooler, I'll change.
I think Ravenna had like 10 antique shops at one time. I think, I personally like antiques, so I'll be
Yeah.
a visitor.
All right.
okay. Any further discussion? Can I have a motion?
I have a motion to accept the sign as presented and welcome him and wish him good luck in his
Right.
business.
Appreciate it.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Manfred?
Yes.
Mr. Hummel?
Yes.
Ms. Kane?
Yes.
Mr. Sodel?
Yes.
Mr. Dudek?
Yes.
I do have a question for you guys. Do I have to pay somebody to hide, or to hang this sign? Is that something I'm allowed to do myself? I can just,
Do it
Yes.
yourself.
okay. I didn't know because every quote I get, they're,
Charging you.
well, yeah, for install, which I get, if they're gonna install it, they quote me, but also for a building permit. Do I need a building permit to
Yeah,
hang
there's a
that?
sign, yeah, you're required to purchase a sign permit.
Okay,
Correct. Which, so this is your first step, you've got approval, now you can come to our department and I'll sign it, and then you can get your permit, correct? Your sign permit.
and you're over at the rack?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, engineering building department.
Very good.
Yeah, but you are able to hang it, do whatever you want to do yourself, you don't have to hire somebody to do that.
Okay.
I would suggest that if you're mounting it into the wood,
Uh-huh.
that you put some spacers between
some
the
rubber or
sign and the
something.
wood, so that you've got air moving behind.
Moisture out of
If
it.
if you mount it up against the wood, you'll have moisture trapped up against the wood. Even if you just put a 1/4-inch spacer in between the wood
Yeah.
and the back of your sign,
Yep.
you'll keep the wood in much better shape, much longer.
Great idea. And who, I mean, if it comes back cheap enough, because they're saying they'll do the windows and everything as the quote, so I might just have the professionals do it, but I just wanted to know.
Okay,
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Good
It's
luck.
nice meeting everybody.
Good luck.
Good luck.
I'll see you around.
Okay.
Definitely.
okay, old business.
Old business. Yeah, he told me last night. We had
Oh.
last night.
Oh,
He said he had a handout. You have tooth problems. What do we got here now?
As everyone received, we got a revised sign back from One Main Financial. I just put this sheet together. The top picture was the original submission. The center one is the revised submission that came in last week. They took the tall letters and reduced them by 2 inches, which provided more space on either end. It scaled the signage down. The bottom one, I took this second submission and I scaled it down basically another 2 inches. If they went from 16-inch letters to 14, the bottom one is going from 14 to 12. Just to see what that looks like. I'm okay with the second submission, but I think the one that I did on the bottom proportionally is much better.
Haven't we already okayed the second one, or am I,
No,
No.
okay, we haven't.
we
Okay.
okayed painting the sign blue.
Okay, that's right, because they wanted to get it done before the weather, and it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Okay,
The contractor's not doing the sign, the owner's doing the sign, and they just didn't get around. Contractor pulled me in the other day when I was walking by. They're just about ready to, in fact, they're gonna open within a week, I think.
I think the second one looks great, too.
I think the second one's okay.
Yeah,
Again, my preference is that the sign takes up about 2/3 of the signboard, which is what the bottom one does. That's the proportions that I think are most appealing to the eye. You're not trying to put too much letter within the sign itself. Second one, the second one is to me a major improvement over the original one.
that's basically what we asked her to do, the sign lady that was here the last time.
We asked her to scale the
Scale
letters
it,
down.
scale it down, and she mentioned we mentioned how big we would probably like to see it scaled down, right?
Yes. So
Okay.
they did. They
Right.
went down to the next size letters 2 inches smaller.
Okay,
I forget whether the O and the M were 18 inches high and they went to 16, or whether that was 16 and they went to 14. They got 2 inches smaller.
Is that backboard 48 inches? Is that full sheet of plywood?
It's 3 feet, I think.
Oh, it's 3 feet.
Yeah.
I think the smaller possible is still somewhat overwhelming at even the last one, I think.
Yeah.
my
Well-
thought says that they're sitting there with their business open, and we're still, some of this was not our fault. It wasn't brought to us in a timely manner to get this taken care of. They didn't show a couple times or whatever, but since we got them to get it within what we thought was okay, that I think the second one's good. And I'd like to make a motion to accept the center one for approval.
Have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Manfred?
Yes.
Mr. Hummel?
No.
Ms. Kane?
Yes.
Mr. Sodel?
Yes.
Mr. Dudek?
Yes.
Okay, so their second submission is approved. I will tell you, as we go through revising some of our design review stuff and we get to signage, the bottom one is what I'm going to push for.
Yeah, I was wondering what might go on to the left of this to correlate with that.
Well, that's Catholic Charities to the left.
Yeah, with the sign.
Are they still in there?
Do they have-
I heard they
do have
moved.
an
They're
They're-
at the
they're in the
corner
old
here.
tri-
They're
they're
at
on
the
the
old
triangle.
triangle now.
Okay, there's
Yeah.
no one in there?
So there'll be a new business in there sometime. That's what I thought.
So something should correlate.
Guido's is on the fence whether they're gonna move in. Of course, they were on the fence 13, 12, 9 years ago. I don't know.
Along that line, has anybody been said, has anything been said about the wall and next to it? Because I just can't picture, there was supposed to be a door there.
They took the door out.
Now it's a window. Is that a service window? So if they put something on the side, which I'm hearing, I won't even bring it up, if they did something on the side for seating, all your delivery would be coming out of the front door like it does now for the ones in the front? Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And it is going ahead.
Okay.
I have a meeting this afternoon at 1 o'clock with NDS. They're ready to move ahead with, they're calling it Pocket Park. So I'll know more about what they're planning on doing after that meeting at 1 o'clock.
As far as landscape, path, walking path, see, okay.
And finalizing the alley and the parking and all of those things. They want to get ready to put it out to bid, so we've got to finalize exactly how things are going. Because basically, from the sidewalk, it's going to be level for 30 or 35 feet. So that Guido's patio is level. Once it hits 35 feet, it's going to slope pretty good going to the back. One of the things that I was kind of in favor of was if we could get some big stone, 16-inch railroad stone, putting in several steps, 16-inch high steps that would provide seating for the bandstand and make it, I don't know, 10 feet or 12 feet, so someone could sit on that and you could put a couple rows of lawn chairs, and then another step and a couple rows of lawn chairs and another step as you work your way, because that slopes 5 feet from the sidewalk to the alley. And we're gonna take, out of the 180 feet, we're gonna take 30 feet or 35 feet, make it level, so it's gonna slope, and the parking lot's gonna be fairly level coming in. There's 4 parking spaces coming south off the alley, and then a row of pines from there. So the back of the bandstand is gonna be 25 or 30 feet from the alley. And if that's 20 feet deep, then that's 50, and we've taken 30 off of here, so we got 100 feet that we're gonna do 4 feet or more in. So it's gonna have a fairly good,
Is the island going to, is the planning island going to stay in the south side?
yeah.
Okay, question then. Since all this is changes, including the window that was supposed to be a door, and it hasn't been brought to us, are we still involved in any of this planning and to okay it? Or are we been removed somehow because that is a historical fronted lot in the historic district?
Well, I mean, there hasn't been a resubmission. I guess we could ask to have that redone. We approved the door and/or window It turned out they put in the window and/or the door and decided not to put the door in. Part of the reason was they were talking about putting in an automatic door, and to put an automatic door in that wall was gonna be
Ooh, big money.
$8,000 or $10,000 to put the door in. So they decided they could walk around. They wanted the window so that from the front counter, they could look out the window and see people seated at some of the tables. They're gonna have cameras out there and they'll know who's sitting where, but they just decided the cost of that door was not worth what they were going to save, because it meant they had to move a table, do away with the table inside a little two-top to put the door in, and so when push came to shove, they decided they'd rather leave the two-top inside, not put the door in, put the 6-foot window in. So that's the direction that they went.
What is pocket parking?
Pocket Park is the
Oh,
name.
park, oh,
Park.
okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
I don't know where that came from. I just got it in an email from Jen. I want to sit down and talk about Pocket Park. So I said, okay.
Well, keep in mind, we have a lot of bricks that could be used for walkways.
The road paving brick from Freedom.
Yeah.
That was a proposed plan to make people happy and make it a little bit more historic too. So, yeah, that was good. Thanks for bringing that back up. Yeah.
Got enough to do the whole alley?
We will. We're gonna, so I just got the number yesterday, over 6,000 square feet of Freedom Street that's gonna come up this year.
Plus, we have brick from the other two phases we've already done, right?
There's truckloads of bricks that can be sorted through still.
Okay.
Yeah.
We palletized 30 pallets of brick, and there's still, like I said, mountains of brick out there that,
And to the architect, were there any plans, they had talked about it, about using those trusses that Eric saved? I know those are hard because they were inside their whole life, to put them out into weather.
At this point, they're not. There hasn't been discussion about putting a roof over top of the
Bandstand?
bandstand area. If a roof goes over the top, then at that point, we might discuss using those trusses.
Okay.
Problem is, they're so darn big. They're 8 feet deep. So if you want 10 feet or 12 feet under the trusses, you now have 20 feet to the top of the trusses. They're really big. I mean, they were capable of spanning 45 feet across that building on 8-foot centers, and you can't scale them down. I mean, you can't cut them apart. They do come apart, but to take them apart and try and take them from an 8-foot truss to a 4-foot truss, things just,
Cost and why? Why?
Yeah.
You've lost all your historical
Correct.
part of it if you cut them up,
there
right?
was discussion of using a cord, top cord, bottom cord, one of the big pieces of wood in the wall of Guido's, in amongst the brick, but that didn't gain much support either. Not that it couldn't be added to it. I mean, there could be some wood post and that being put in and whatever, but
But the maintenance, gets into maintenance on that
the vast
eventually.
majority of the people that would be sitting there eating would have no clue why that wood is there.
Right.
Put a plaque up.
We could do a plaque, yes.
Put a plaque.
Isn't there a plaque already planned by NDS on this? I think
I
there
believe-
is, isn't there?
I believe so,
One of
yes.
those, yes.
Yeah.
Whether it was a bronze, one of the big ones from the state of Ohio, or, you know,
Yeah, there was
Or
something,
whatever.
there. They planned something.
they planned on there, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got to go field verify those big arches, because we're going to narrow the arches and cut the columns and drop them down to pedestrian scale. Okay,
Should excuse the 2 absentees.
I guess we can do that.
We should excuse the 2 absentees, Patrick and Angie.
I'll move to excuse the 2 absentees.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign.
One thing is, are all the meetings set up with our consultants?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. So Tuesday night, the consultant is set to present to the planning committee at 6 o'clock. And I believe they have about a half hour to present. 2 of them are going to be present, or are they gonna?
Polly and Lauren are gonna be here.
So you guys are obviously welcome to attend. There'll be other meetings set up for the other civic
It's next Tuesday
organizations.
Next Tuesday on the 16th.
in the evening.
Yes, in the evening at 6 PM.
Here, or?
Here,
Yes,
yep, council meeting.
To know, if you haven't been to some, they say 6 o'clock, but it depends on where they put that meeting amongst the other 4 or 5 meetings when they get to it.
Yeah, it should be 6. it should be
If
the
you're
first
talking
meeting.
about getting first
it should be the
preference
first
on
meeting.
it, okay, it's 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I kind of put that in an email to ask them if they could be kind of right there at the front of the meeting.
Very wise, because it can go into 8:30 at night.
So that's Tuesday or Monday?
Tuesday, we're closed on Monday.
Oh, that's right.
Martin Luther King.
Yes.
Public comment.
Oh, yeah. Happy New Year.
Larry Selenius, 123 North Walnut Street. I just want to say I don't recall this group ever being as helpful as you were to the gentleman from High Collective with advertising ideas. I definitely approve and hope you will continue to treat people that way when they come to approve us. Thank you.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. We are adjourned. 10:40.